Hey folks, Joyce here, certified health coach. Green beans are a great summer vegetable and they're typically in season from May through October, depending on where you're located. So today we're going to be prepping and cutting them 5 different ways, and hopefully that inspires you to eat 3 or more veggies a day. Check out the playlist listed above and in the description below, and make sure to hit the subscribe button and watch all the way to the end so you'll know how much a serving size looks like on your plate. Let's get started.
What you'll need is a large bowl, a sharp knife, a fork, and a kitchen towel to dry the green beans off. So let's go ahead and dump these green beans to this large bowl before we wash it. And let's examine these green beans. So these look to be okay. They're a little bit bruised, but they're not soft, so they're still good to go. This one I would say chuck that. Pick out all the little green beans that seem to be wilted and bruised and cut up like that before you wash them. All right, just rinse them in cold water and then dump out the water on the side. Green beans are not part of the Dirty Dozen list, so you can definitely buy these conventional. Don't worry about getting them organic. And go ahead and rinse it again. And a third time. I added the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen list to the description below. Go ahead and spread your towel and add your green beans to get them dry. Spread them out nice and even so they dry quicker. Now that your green beans are nice and dry, I invite you to take the stem off. So you're just gonna bend it, and the idea is that there's gonna be some stringy bits that will come along with it. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, and the French like to take it off on both ends, so the bottoms as well. I know some of y'all may not have time to do this by hand, although this is highly recommended. There is another easier way, and that is to just bunch up the stems and the ends together like so. All right, and we're going to use our knife to cut the stems off like so. Now, these ends here are quite tender, so I don't really typically cut them off, but if you'd like a cleaner cut, you are welcome to do that, like so. All right, there's another fancy way to do this, and that is to, again, stack the tops together, okay, and make sure that they're the same size. So we'll put that aside. And cutting it on a bias like this kind of gives it a little bit of an angle, which makes it look a little fancier. So then stack them on their bottoms as well. And go ahead and cut them like that at an angle. So it creates a little bit more of an interesting look. If you're not keeping the ends, then you don't have to worry about stacking stem to ends. So just put them down on the cutting board like this and line them up so you see the tops kind of close together, and then just slice it and see how many you can cut, doing it that way, and then just flip it over and do the same thing on this side. You can use your palm as a guide here to line them up and then cut them like that.
If you like what you're seeing so far, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and the little bell next to it to stay updated on future videos as soon as they come out, or connect with me on Instagram and Facebook at Kala Health and Wellness. Also, if you're curious for a free consult, just reach out to me via email, jm@kalahealthandwellness.com.
So here are the ends and also the pieces that look a little wonky. So if you have a compost bin, go ahead and put it in there. Give yourself some room. So now we have our stack of prepped green beans, and we're gonna cut them 5 different ways. So let me make some room here. The French way is kind of just laying it on its side and running your sharp knife along it. and these are the French cuts, okay? So just be careful on how you do it. It does take some practice. They look very elegant, to be honest with you. Of course, you can leave them as is, and I saved some with the ends right here. All right, and the other way is to just cut them in pieces. So here's our fork, and I like to use the fork as like a guide to the size. So this is about 1.5 inches, and I think that's really good. So that's 1.5 inches to 2 inches is a great size for pieces like that. And then once that's already cut, then I like to use it as a guide for my other pieces. So stacking them, and they're not going to be perfect, and that's okay. If you want to make them fancy, what you can do is cut them on a bias like this. Okay, so you have ends that are a little bit interesting. And lastly, julienning them. I'll show you for one string bean, and you're going to angle your knife at a 45-degree angle and slice it as thin as you can using your knuckles as a knife guide, okay? And they're going to look like that. And the more that you angle the knife, the longer the pieces are gonna be. Please make sure that your thumb is behind your knuckles, okay? So this is julienning the string beans. And my mom taught me how to cut it like this. Okay, just a few. You definitely wanna do one green bean at a time when julienning, just so you are nice and careful. Here are 5 cuts. So this one is as is with the stems removed. You can see the ends are still intact. Super great for pickling, also steaming it and adding it to a salade niçoise when it's cooled down, and also blistering, roasting, or grilling them. This is the French cut, so steam these, cool them down, and make them the star of a salad dish. These are our 1.5 to 2 inch pieces. So these are the straight edges, and then you have the bias cut edges here, both really great for stir fries. Then we have our julienne. This is super awesome for pancit, which is a Filipino noodle dish, or use them as a filling in lumpia, which is a Filipino spring roll. Green beans do shrink when cooked, but not as much as greens do. But this is about a heaping cup of green beans. And this is a serving of vegetables taking up half the plate.
I hope you guys are inspired to add more green beans to your plate and get closer to your 3 or more veggies a day goal now that you know how to prep and cut green beans 5 different ways. Let me know what you end up making in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share, or hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you have, thank y'all so much. See you next week, and remember, you deserve to be happy and healthy.